I can't believe you. My best friend screamed when I refused to cover for her affair. My husband stayed silent. Until he showed one video that changed everything. Her lover left. My soon-to-be ex-best friend and I have been close since middle school. We know everything about each other, and our families have practically merged into one. You get the idea. As I mentioned, we share everything. Recently, she confided in me, not out of guilt, but to brag, that she has been having an affair for the past 4 months with her superior at work, where she's been employed for about a year. She was excited to tell me about the extravagant vacation she's taking with him, disguised as a work trip. Then, she asked me to cover for her if her husband reached out, as she plans to cut off all communication for that week so he won't suspect a thing. Side note, we've both known her husband since high school. They are high school lovers, so they've been together for almost 15 years. Her husband is one of the most honest, hard-working, genuine people I know. He of course took everything she said about working late and the business trip at face value because he trusts her more than he trusts himself. I told her I wouldn't cover for her and demanded she leave my house because I couldn't even stand to look at her. Later, I told my husband everything, and he was just as shocked and disgusted. Since her husband has become one of his closest friends, he felt a strong sense of loyalty to him as well. Then, my husband pointed out something I hadn't even considered: our security camera had captured everything. Tonight, we plan to show her husband the proof and let him decide how to handle it. He deserves to know the truth. We also considered reporting this to her workplace, as they have a strict no fraternization policy. Given that she was promoted by the same supervisor she's been involved with, this could be seen as favoritism, possibly leading to both of them losing their jobs. Additionally, I initially planned to send a snippet of her admitting to the affair to both her family and mine. Since our families are deeply connected, it wouldn't be difficult to reach most of them. I wanted to ensure she wouldn't have the chance to twist the situation against me or her husband. Some might see this as too extreme, but I completely disagree. ETA, after considering some advice, I've decided to leave the decision to her soon-to-be ex-husband. As some pointed out, he might choose to stay with her, and if we go nuclear, it could make his situation even worse. There's also the issue of how her job loss could impact their divorce proceedings. We're still telling him everything, but for now, we've decided against the other two actions. However, if she tries to pin this on us or lies in any way, I won't hesitate to go nuclear. I will not be seen as a villain for a situation I didn't even ask to be in the first place. SHE was the one who thought it would be smart to tell her monogamous friend with traditional values that she's cheating on her spouse. She can lie in her bed. Small update: everyone involved, Alyssa equals best friend, Noah equals BFFs hub. I decided to take the advice of a few people and reach out to Alyssa before I went to her husband. I recorded the conversation, and let her know I was for my safety. She seemed still extremely nonchalant about the whole thing. I told her I was worried for her, and even for her, this was very out of character behavior. Long story short, Alyssa has been feeling weak and unbalanced in her marriage with Noah. For context, Noah attended trade school and earns a great income, while Alyssa, until her recent promotion, was making slightly above minimum wage. Lately, she has been engaging with online forums that reject traditional values, where women criticized her for earning less than her husband. She then admitted that she noticed her supervisor flirting with her, and her online friends encouraged her to take advantage of it to climb the career ladder. She went along with it, but over time, she developed feelings for him as well. Ultimately, she confessed that she doesn't really regret the affair because it helped her career and led her to true love. I told her she had the chance to come clean to Noah before we did, but my husband and I would be visiting tonight with the video evidence of her admission, so she wouldn't be able to twist the situation in her favor. She simply responded with a casual "okay" before hanging up on me. I have no idea what's going on with her. I can't tell if she's experiencing some sort of mental break or if she's just so detached from her marriage that she genuinely doesn't care about the consequences. Either way, my husband and I are still planning to meet with Noah tonight. I'm honestly curious to see if she'll even say anything to him, or if she'll say anything at all. Relevant comments. OOP on the legal rights and consent to share the video evidence with Alyssa's workplace. OOP, legally, we should be in the clear if we ever choose to share the footage, though we've decided against it for now. Alyssa was fully aware of our security cameras. We have a very visible Ring doorbell, outdoor cameras, and indoor ones that are in plain sight. Additionally, where we live, recording on private property without consent is completely legal. So there's no risk of legal retaliation against us. This entire situation is what frustrates me the most. She was a new hire with little to no experience in the field, yet she landed a promotion in the classic sleeping with the boss manner. She has always looked for shortcuts or loopholes, but this is a whole new level of low. At the very least, I hope the supervisor gets fired. Someone who abuses their authority like that has no business being in a position of power. I've considered submitting an anonymous tip about him specifically, but for now, I don't want it to trace back to my ex-friend. OOP on telling Alyssa's husband about the video evidence and going nuclear. OOP, the only reason we're holding off for now is because of some insightful advice I received. Alyssa's husband is a good man, and he may choose to forgive her and try to reconcile. Even though I don't agree with that decision, it's his to make, and I don't want to make things worse for him by exposing everything and forcing him to deal with the fallout. Another important point someone raised is that taking action against her job could impact a potential divorce settlement. I don't want to unintentionally make things harder for him if he decides to leave her. I completely agree, and hubby and I decided against going nuclear, because at the end of the day, STBX will be the only one who gets hurt. It will be solely his decision, unless she tries to spread rumors or lies about me, my husband, or STBX. I plan to tell him if she decides to try and spin this. I will send a clip of the video to anyone she tells, and let it spread from there. Commenter, agree. Also OP, please be prepared for her husband to stay with his wife and cut you and your husband off. Marriages are complicated, and sometimes things don't play out the way you imagine they will. You should tell him, 100%, but what he does with that information is up to him. And please remember that this is not just blowing up your ex-friend's life, it's blowing up her husband's life too. It's his call whether he wants to go nuclear or not. OOP, I honestly wouldn't be surprised if he decided to stay with her. He's a very forgiving man and may be willing to give it a shot. As tough as it will be, we do see ourselves going NC with both of them unless a divorce were to take place. Because as much as we'd love to continue being friends and support husband, if ex-friend is part of the deal, we can't support that. Update. Apologies for not providing an update sooner, we were obviously preoccupied last night. People involved. Ex-best friend equals Alyssa. Best friend's husband equals Noah. After considering the advice from many people, I ultimately decided against going nuclear. As several pointed out, this isn't my battle to fight. The decision about how to proceed should be left to the person who was betrayed, Noah. Before telling him, I reached out to Alyssa to give her the opportunity to confess to him herself. However, after speaking with her, I actually considered contacting her parents to suggest she seek medical help. She was so indifferent and unapologetic about the affair that I genuinely wondered if she was experiencing some kind of mental break or psychosis. Alyssa has always been the type to seek shortcuts and loopholes, but cheating on her husband of nearly 2 decades just to climb the corporate ladder? That's beyond anything I would have expected. For those who missed my small update, Alyssa originally started the affair purely to secure a promotion at work. Eventually, it turned into an emotional relationship. She admitted that her new friends from certain so-called feminist forums and Facebook groups encouraged her to view her lower income as a weakness in her marriage, something she was already more insecure about than she had let on. They also fed her the idea that using a man for career advancement wasn't really cheating, as long as there was no emotional attachment. According to them, she was simply being a girl boss. She admitted she couldn't separate her feelings from the intimate aspect, and started going on regular dates and vacations, and eventually they started calling each other boyfriend and girlfriend. The AP knows she's married, but was told they were on the verge of separation. My hubby and I arrived at Noah and Alyssa's with some booze and some dinner, and by the time we were there, Noah had already gone through a bottle of wine. Surprisingly, Alyssa did confess to Noah about the affair. He told us it was extremely non-apologetic, though. She sat him down, and told him that she wasn't going on a business trip this week, she was going on a vacation with her boyfriend. Noah, being the loyal and oblivious person he is, initially misunderstood and thought Alyssa had misspoken, assuming she meant husband. Excited, he asked if they were still going to Italy as planned. But Alyssa simply repeated, with my boyfriend. It took him a few moments to process what she was saying, but once it sank in, things got ugly. He admitted to us that, in sheer desperation, he fell to his knees and begged her to fix their marriage. She yelled at him for a bit, then completely shut him out again. She had already packed her bags and, without another word, walked out, leaving him sobbing. After she left, she turned off her location, something both Noah and I had access to through a family app, so we have no idea where she went. We assume she went to her affair partner's house because if she had gone to her parents' home with 2 suitcases, her mother would have immediately contacted Noah. She considers him like a son. Once things settled, we sat down with Noah and told him we had video and audio recordings of Alyssa admitting and explaining the affair. We offered to send them to him in case he ever needed them. I also explained that, in my initial anger, I had wanted to expose her to everyone. But after taking a step back and thinking rationally, I realized that going scorched earth wouldn't achieve anything, it would only end up hurting Noah. As expected, he is still toying with the idea of reconciliation, though he knows it's unlikely. For any reconciliation to work, both people need to acknowledge the issues and genuinely want to fix things. Alyssa, clearly, has no interest in that. To help him move forward, we connected him with a lawyer friend of my husband's, who has agreed to assist him pro bono until the divorce is finalized. Though Noah is still hesitant about proceeding with the divorce, he also understands that he can't force Alyssa to stay. As comments have suggested, this is where we bow out. We're obviously going to continue to support Noah, but it's not our situation to handle. It's his. If there's any future updates, I'll OFC ask Noah first, but you'll be the second to know. Thanks for being so supportive and helpful. It made me realize that how Noah handles his life and his marriage is his responsibility, not mine. ETA, wanted to clear up some questions from the last post that I didn't really answer in the update. What did Alyssa ever do to you that made you want to go so nuclear? Honestly, nothing in particular. Like I said, for the past few years our friendship has been for convenience at its best. We've basically been friends because we know each other so well, and we have at least one friend. Alyssa has always had traits I didn't necessarily agree with, but who doesn't? What really set me off was the sheer hypocrisy of the situation. Alyssa has always been someone who despised cheaters. She's cut numerous people out of her life just for being associated with infidelity. For her to suddenly do a complete 180, not only engaging in an affair but feeling zero remorse for it, is what truly frustrates me. It's so out of character that I can't help but wonder if she's experiencing some kind of mental breakdown. It's not just hypocritical, it's downright baffling, even for her. Am I in love with Noah? Absolutely not. Just because I acknowledge that he's a good and genuine person doesn't mean I have feelings for him. Our relationship has always been strictly platonic, because he loved Alyssa, and I loved seeing them happy together. I adore my husband, and I've only ever seen Noah as a brother. Let's use some logic here, people. Relevant comments. Commenter 1, I hope he, Noah, finds the self-respect and dignity to go through with the divorce. If he decides to report their workplace affair, he should wait until after the divorce is finalized. OOP, as much as I care about him, Noah practically worships Alyssa. If she walked through the door right now and said, sorry, even without an ounce of remorse, I'm almost certain he'd act like the past 4 months never happened. Commenter 2, you've handled the situation incredibly well. Even though it's painful for everyone involved, your thoughtful approach will likely help Noah navigate this difficult time. If you ever have updates, I'm sure many people following your story would be eager to hear how things unfold. Wishing the best for Noah, and for you and your husband as you continue supporting him. OOP, thank you. Like I said, when I first posted, I was acting out of blind rage and was ready to go nuclear. But after taking a step back, I realized I was being irrational. It's not my place to seek revenge on Alyssa. Honestly, if she's not careful, she might end up exposing herself at work, and at that point, it'll be up to her employer to handle it. OOP on notifying Alyssa's workplace. OOP, I'm not going to. If Noah decides to reconcile, she'll be out of a job, which just adds to the problem that caused the affair in the first place. If she gets fired during the divorce, it could be grounds for alimony she doesn't deserve. OOP on what forum Alyssa got the advice from. OOP, it wasn't a national or creditable group, it was called like Independent Women of Insert State, and it's a bunch of women who give advice and other stuff tailored to laws and jobs in our state. The advice she got was from a group of women she met in that group who had their own personal group chat. She called them her friends, but I guarantee none of them are going to help her pick up her life now that it's ruined. Update. I didn't expect to be back so soon, but the past week has been a whirlwind of awful events, like a speed run of everything that could possibly go wrong. The last 2 days, in particular, have been especially terrible. Apologies if this update seems scattered, I'm still trying to process everything. Not long after she left, either that same day or the next, Alyssa and her affair partner, AP, went on their vacation. I only found out because she shamelessly posted pictures all over social media, making it clear that even if she wasn't officially divorced, she had already moved on. Naturally, this set off alarm bells for her family, who were unaware of the full situation. Noah's phone was flooded with messages, apologies, accusations, everything imaginable. But being the people pleaser he is, he downplayed the situation and told her family that they were on a mutual break, instead of revealing that she had cheated and the man in the photos was her affair partner. Fortunately, Alyssa's mom wasn't convinced and reached out to me. I didn't sugarcoat anything, I told her the full truth. I explained that Alyssa had been cheating on Noah for months, and the only reason she finally admitted it to him was because she had been openly bragging to me about her sugar daddy AP. Alyssa's mom then dropped a bomb on me that even I didn't know. Alyssa is a serial cheater. Her mom said in high school, Alyssa would bring boys home under the guise of school projects or sports-related things, but she caught Alyssa kissing 2 different boys. Keep in mind, she was dating Noah all this time. She said she didn't think much of it, and just chalked it up to being a crazy hormonal teenager. She also said she never expected her to marry her high school boyfriend, and by the time they were married, she figured Alyssa had stopped doing all this stuff. Neither her nor I have no idea if she's done anything like that since high school through to the present, but I'm not interested in digging further into it. It turns out Alyssa's casual attitude toward cheating wasn't new. She's apparently always been this way. I guess her so-called girl boss friends just reignited something in her, reminding her how easily she had cheated in the past and inspiring her to do it again. Honestly, I have no idea what was going through her head. I'll admit, I lost my temper with her mom, something I'm not proud of. As I've mentioned before, Alyssa's mom is like a second mother to me, so I don't really filter myself when speaking to her. In the heat of the moment, I told her that she had set Noah up for this kind of life when he could have been with someone who truly valued him. She didn't argue, just let me vent until I calmed down. I apologized for yelling but still told her, plain and simple, that we both knew Noah deserved better. I also told her that if she truly wanted to support Noah, she should have warned him about Alyssa's past before he married her. She agreed, but pointed out that dwelling on it wouldn't change anything now. The priority was helping Noah move forward. I was still furious, so I snapped that if she really wanted to support him, she could have spoken up 10 years ago. Then I hung up. We've since talked it out, and we're fine now, but in that moment, I was too angry to see past it. Then came the next big hit. Alyssa's social media posts made their way back to a colleague, and before their vacation was even over, both she and her affair partner lost their jobs. As expected, their employer was furious, especially since Alyssa's promotion now seemed like clear favoritism. Noah later told me that at least 3 HR complaints had already been filed against them, so their firing was inevitable. And, of course, their beautiful relationship crumbled the moment AP realized he had just lost his 6-figure job because of Alyssa. He was so furious that he even canceled her plane ticket home out of spite, leaving her stranded. This is where all of you will be disappointed, and so am I, but Noah immediately forgave her, bought her a ticket, and moved her back in. She told him it was just a huge mistake, and seeing how her AP treated her made her realize what she could have lost. It's obviously all BS to me and hubby, but you already know Noah ate that shit up. He's told us that he's urging her to go to couples counseling, but OFC it's not an ultimatum, so basically she just got to have her cake and eat it with no consequences. We told Noah previously, and reminded him, that if he decided to take Alyssa back, we'd be going at the very least low contact. We kept to our word, and have completely blocked Alyssa, and have Noah unblocked, but don't plan to engage in small talk to invitations to stuff. We refuse to be like him and just act like this never happened, because that's not normal. He understood, but told us he has to stand by the vows he made to his wife, which we both understand to an extent, and wished him well. So yeah, Alyssa got to sleep with someone else, enjoy a vacation, lose her job, and still return to a home and a husband waiting for her. Guess that's a win for her? I don't even know how to process this anymore. If they want to continue their messed up, broken marriage, that's their choice. I'm not even angry at this point, just exhausted. Honestly, I'm almost relieved it's over because I don't think I could have dealt with this dragging on for months. I knew deep down this was how things would end, it's just who Noah is, but that doesn't make it any less frustrating. Maybe I'm just rambling now. I'm glad we decided to step back because, honestly, both of them have serious psychological issues that should be handled by a professional, not by us. But since neither of them will ever seek help, it's not our problem. I'd rather cut ties than keep getting dragged into this chaos. Sorry if I sound harsh, but at the end of the day, these are issues I never signed up to deal with. I don't need this kind of stress while my husband and I are trying to start a family. So yeah, I guess that's it.